I'm standing in front of the apartment building where I first started paying rent after starting my full-time job. And this is the Bilt Mastercard. For the past several years, it's been my favorite card to have and to recommend to my friends. It let me pay my rent with a credit card, avoid the processing fee, and also earn points in the process. For myself and many others in Gen Z, rent is our single largest monthly expense, and this card let us earn 1 point per dollar on that expense every single month. That resulted in annually 20, 30,000 points that we could then use to book flights to go home, see our parents, and answer their questions about why we chose to live in such an expensive city. It was a small respite amid the ever-growing hellscape that is modern affordability. And now, they've killed it.
There was a time when credit cards were simple. You spent money that you didn't have, and then the ghost of Dave Ramsey would come and haunt you. That was the deal, and everyone sort of got it. Today, the credit card landscape consists of a myriad of ecosystems and tiers and fiat currencies, all packaged as motivational language that deceives you into thinking you're somehow gaming the system.
The first credit card reward system started in the 1980s with the Diners Club Rewards program. But they actually became a nationwide phenomenon right here in Chicago. During Super Bowl 20, Discover launched their first no-fee credit card.
Walter Payton, Mike Ditka, Hungry Chicago, finally champions.
This is the dawn of Discover.
The Discover card.
It costs you nothing to get and pays you back with real dollar dividends.
The Discover card puts money in a whole new life.
From a member of Sears Financial Network.
This card, distributed by Sears, had a tiny little Sears tower embossed on it, and it offered some basic cashback perks.
This launched a brief golden age of credit card points, roughly from the late 90s through the early 2010s, when rewards actually felt generous.
What? The home of the Whopper is offering cash or credit.
I think it's pretty bad if you have to use a credit card when you go to a fast food restaurant.
I use my GM card and I get a 5% rebate.
Thank you.
If I eat here long enough, I'll be able to buy a pickup truck.
I just hope it doesn't slow things down at the cash and carry, that people are going to be having to call New York and get the confirmation or whatever it is, because when I want a Whopper, I want it now.
Point systems were easy to understand, redemptions were fixed, and people had a good balance of effort and payoff. You didn't need Reddit threads or spreadsheets to calculate what you were getting. You didn't need to maximize or churn your benefits. You spent money, you earned points, you earned status, and the math just kind of worked out for anyone who was willing to put in just a smidge of effort. But then everyone started to figure it out, and blogs about finding these different hacks started popping up everywhere. Over time, points became dynamic, conditional, and inflated in number but deflated in value. Airlines and hotels shifted to pricing awards based on cash cost. Inflation eroded purchasing power. So a point that once had a fixed redemption value now became a carrot dangling at the end of a convoluted travel portal, fluctuating seemingly at random. Redeeming points for any sort of decent value is now basically just a part-time job in and of itself. You don't need me to tell you that credit card debt has been exploding, but you don't exactly see more people being able to afford simple luxuries from all their swiping. Wages are stagnant, rents are rising, but there is still value for those willing to seek it out. When Bilt debuted in 2022, it was a rare case of too good to be true. You could put your rent on your line of credit, float it if you really wanted to, month over month, and you would earn points from it. And you didn't have to pay the 3% fee that your landlord would charge, or your processing portal would charge. You did have to make 4 other monthly transactions, but most people would just make tiny transactions, like 4 bananas, as the joke on Reddit goes, or a couple public transit swipes, which is what I usually did. Now, there's no way that this was feasible for Bilt's long-term financial success, but it felt like finally a break. If I'm going to have to pay these outrageous rent prices, at least I get a little kickback. Throughout the past couple of years, the belt has been tightening across the industry. Credit card powerhouses like Amex and Chase started to have too many people benefiting from their programs. Now annual fees are creeping closer to $1,000 a year. Airport lounges, once the symbol of premium travel and status, are now overcrowded and gated. So these companies started removing guest passes. They limited the availability of the lounges. They raised the fee for authorized users that could get into the lounge with you. Some cards began requiring massive annual spending just to keep the benefits that you signed up for. Restaurant credits quietly vanished. Nothing was taken away outright, it was all restricted, conditioned, and reclassified as something you now had to earn. Then along came Bilt 2.0, the long-awaited reimagining of the industry's most unique and talked about card. Instead of simply earning points on rent, the system changed. You spend money to earn Bilt Cash, which is a made-up currency, in order to unlock the ability to earn up to 1x points on your rent. And Bilt points are another made-up currency. You can look at the math yourself, but essentially you need to spend 75% of your rent cost on other things throughout the month in order to unlock the full points for your rent. So if your rent is $2,000, you need to spend $1,500 on other stuff in order to unlock the 2,000 points. The justification that I've seen people use is that you get 2x points on non-rent spend with the top tier Bilt 2.0 card, which is the $495 annual fee Bilt Palladium. So that extra $1,500 you spend each month, that earns 3,000 points, and that unlocks the 2,000 points on your rent. So you're basically spending $1,500 to unlock 5,000 points. So if you look at it like you're spending $1,500 to get 5,000 Bilt points, then you can do some mental gymnastics to say you're actually earning 3.33x Bilt points per dollar. All for the low cost of $495 a year and a major headache. In other words, you don't actually get rewarded for paying rent, you get rewarded for your spending around your rent. And you also can't even put your rent on your line of credit anymore, so you're not actually paying rent with a credit card, which was kind of their whole slogan when they started out. It's just a lot of distracting noise and basically like mini games surrounding your most important monthly transaction. After the initial announcement of Bilt 2.0, the backlash was swift and loud. Early Reddit threads ruthlessly flamed the Bilt team as being fraudsters, sellouts, conmen. Many users called it a bait and switch, because after all, the original Bilt card had let you earn points on rent without a big spend requirement, and suddenly that simplicity was gone. So, recognizing the confusion and frustration, Bilt tried to do some damage control and offer a different way to earn points, which was equally as confusing and bad as the first way. They also did an Ask Me Anything on Reddit, which was a total disaster. Now, I consider myself to be pretty savvy when it comes to credit card points, as does most of Bilt's customer base, but this is now way too confusing for any of us to keep up with, and way too big of a commitment to one single card ecosystem, which pales in comparison to other, more established ones, especially in terms of reliability and customer support. Bilt has stopped being a background perk that you used once a month, and now it's asking to be your primary card, your lifestyle card, your everyday spend, your catch-all. So yeah, the free ride is over. All of the backtracking and betrayal from this latest fintech fiasco highlights a reality that's been a long time in the making. Spending more is the only reliable way to get meaningful rewards. It's less about your benefit and more about keeping people locked into constant consumption. The loopholes that they created keep getting closed, and the life hacks get patched. Now, all of this points to a larger theme of benefits getting increasingly more complicated to earn and less valuable to redeem. For the old Bilt card, you could dedicate maybe 15 minutes each month thinking about your rent and the extra payments you had to make to unlock those points. Now it takes almost a master's degree to just understand, and even when you do, you'll find it's not completely worth it in most cases. This theme has been permeating every aspect of daily life. Streaming, ride shares, Airbnb, food delivery. Something starts good, becomes popular, and then slowly degrades as it's optimized for extraction rather than customer value. Credit cards are going through it right now. Rewards didn't disappear, they became conditional. Benefits didn't vanish, they became gated. Everything now asks how much you're willing to give before you get anything back. For younger, middle-class Americans, this feels so discouraging. a constant uphill battle to get ahead and follow that pursuit of happiness that we've heard so much about. But these obstacles simply provide us with more opportunities to become resilient and adaptable. So no, the new Bilt Card isn't evil. Credit card points aren't a complete scam. They're a mirror. They reflect an economy where basic life expenses are monetized, softened with perks, and sold back to you as opportunities. You don't get ahead anymore. You optimize just enough to feel less behind. So yes, earn your points. Track your categories. Debate the value of rewards online. Just don't confuse any of it for relief. In 2026, affordability hasn't disappeared. It's just been rebranded as a reward. And the price of admission keeps going up. Thank you so much for watching. I would really appreciate if you subscribe to my channel. I hope to keep making more videos like this about things I find interesting, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.